Imagine waking up to the sound of war horns blaring over the misty English countryside. The ground trembles, villagers scream, and dark ships slice through the river fog, bringing with them fierce warriors from the edge of the known world. England would never be the same again. It was the late 8th century, and England, a patchwork of squabbling kingdoms, had no idea that its destiny was about to be violently rewritten. The Vikings, legendary seafarers from Scandinavia, were about to crash into British shores with all the force of a thunderstorm. It began in 793 AD with a chilling attack on Lindisfarne, a peaceful monastery perched on a tiny island off the Northumbrian coast. Monks, once protected by their isolation, were slaughtered, their treasures looted, their sacred relics desecrated. Word of the attack spread like wildfire. This wasn't just another raid. This was a new kind of terror. Fast, brutal, and seemingly unstoppable. But why England? Why now? The answer lies in a perfect storm of ambition, opportunity, and desperation. Scandinavia was growing crowded and politically unstable. Across the seas, England gleamed like an undefended jewel, wealthy, fractured, and ripe for the taking. By the mid-9th century, the Viking threat evolved from coastal raids into full-blown invasion. The so-called Great Heathen Army, a massive force of warriors, descended on England around 865 AD. This wasn't some wild band of pirates. It was a coordinated military campaign, led by ruthless commanders like Ivar the Boneless, Halfdan Ragnarsson, and Ubba, sons of the legendary Ragnar Lothbrok. Here's where the suspense thickens. England wasn't defenseless, but it was divided. 4 major kingdoms, Northumbria, Mercia, East Anglia, and Wessex, often spent more time fighting each other than preparing for outside threats. The Vikings exploited this chaos masterfully. One by one, the kingdoms fell. Northumbria was first, collapsing under the Viking onslaught after the death of its king in a bloody battle. East Anglia followed, its ruler executed in a grisly public display. Mercia too would crumble under pressure. It seemed inevitable that all of England would soon fly the raven banner of the Norsemen. But just when it seemed darkest, a hero emerged from the mist. Alfred of Wessex, later known as Alfred the Great. Alfred, barely surviving a series of brutal battles, transformed Wessex into a fortress of resistance. He rallied his people, reorganized defenses, and introduced revolutionary military strategies, including a network of fortified towns called burhs that could withstand Viking attacks. In 878, at the Battle of Edington, Alfred delivered a shocking, decisive blow to the Viking invaders. Their leader, Guthrum, was forced to surrender, convert to Christianity, and withdraw to what would become known as the Danelaw, a huge swath of England under Viking control, but separate from Alfred's kingdom. This was the true turning point. Instead of being wiped out, the English adapted. They learned from the Vikings, fortified their kingdoms, and slowly, painfully began to reclaim their land. The cultural fusion between Anglo-Saxons and Norsemen even reshaped English society, language, and law. Yet the Viking impact was permanent. They didn't just raid and leave. They stayed, settled, married, farmed, and governed. Some of the most familiar English place names, ending in by, Thorpe, and Wick, are Viking legacies. Even modern English owes hundreds of everyday words to Old Norse. The invasion didn't just redraw the map of England, it reshaped its soul. In the centuries to follow, descendants of these Viking settlers would rise to the throne itself. By 1016, the Danish king Canute the Great would rule over a North Sea empire uniting England, Denmark, and Norway under his crown. The story of the Viking invasion is one of blood, fire, and transformation. It's a story of terror and survival, of warriors who sought fortune across the seas, and of a people who refused to be extinguished. England's journey from a fragmented cluster of kingdoms to a unified realm began with the clash of sword against shield in the dark days of the Viking Age. And it all started on that misty morning in the year 793, when the world changed forever.